Hi there, Charlie here. Are you a person who also has a bunch of different journals or writing things? No, just me? Okay. Well, I have I'm currently doing these are just my poetry journals. They exist in different spots in my house because, inspiration, you might be cozy and you might just not want to do stuff. Anyway, I wanted to read you a poem from my bedside poetry journal because it happened this morning, and I'll talk about it after because it's just one of those like things. So, tick. I awoke to a painful sensation on my neck, my fingers grazing the familiar raised skin of an insect bite. But something harder gripped my fingernail, so I began an extraction. In my morning mind haze, I was sure a spider bite was the culprit, and confused as to why and how a fang could possibly be wedged into my skin. I pulled, feeling a partial release before grabbing a tissue to deposit my find. A final withdrawal netted a small black speck I hastily stashed into the folds of the tissue. Without my glasses, everything in the world is theoretical. Once in the bathroom, glasses and light now with me, I unfurled the truth. A semi bloated tick lay crushed and surrounded by my own blood. I summoned my husband to excavate the wound site and ensure no head was left. My neck now aches, and my interest in walks is severely drained. I hate living in a place so full of these parasites, but it feels very fitting. It's the first tick who has ever drawn blood from me since we moved here 2 years ago. We leave in less than 3 weeks, hopefully never again stepping foot onto this cursed land. The stones echo the stories of the colonizers that the residents celebrate and revere. It's little wonder that ticks spread disease here with such vigor. Perhaps they draw blood and incapacitate as restitution, the land here blighted alongside the people. So I did. I like the snow piled on and got amazing and it got really cold and everyone here got excited because they're like, "Oh, it'll mean that yay, tick population will decrease." And then the snow melted and ticks. And I have found ticks on me, but I'm usually like find them and remove them before they ever bite. And yes, I live in the tick capital of maybe the world. I don't know. But I live where ticks just are and have not had a single one bite me until this morning or last night. And yeah, woke up just I literally woke up, moved up and my hand just went here and I went, "Oh, what?" But a spider and a fang and oh, I hate it. I hate it. Ugh. But I felt compelled to share that cuz after like it took the turn and started talking about a little bit of restitution stuff and I was like, "Wait, what?" What? Um and so I started asking internally and I just kind of wanted to circle back to that for your entertainment too because I was so curious about that line and also it is the case it is what I've really experienced here too in just being in this land walking in this land there part of the like New England charm and everything is like there are stone walls everywhere which were erected when colonizers came, decimated everyone here and the trees. They cut everything down because they were using it for shipbuilding and they moved all of the stones to make all of these like hundreds and hundreds of miles of um, you know, this is mine territory, right? Um and when you really are when you're connecting to the land and you're able to read the what things are still sort of reverberating through, like stones are ancient, right? Like we as humans we come in for our usually less than 100 years or so next to millennia. Stones themselves are sort of in a state of the now moment and the everyone. And when so much of the history that's here is, and I say celebrating, but it is like there's the constant like founded in this year. It's on signs and it's on everything. It's um the real like desire to hold the past, but obviously to only hold a very specific viewpoint of the past, right? And with considerations, there are definitely there has been more up here about considerations of land usage and considerations of we are on the site of, much more so than I do remember living in Virginia, to be fair. Um, but those stories and those wounds are they're just there's this is the energy up here. These wounds are just constantly reverberating through all of these stones that, especially with the fact that they put up lines, like they kind of created ley lines of boundaried things that kind of I like when I tap into it, I'm like sort of what's sort of happening with these stories. It almost looks like Pong or like a Windows like going across like like think of each thing as its own like right, like these are the stories, they're kind of cycling and circling around and pinging through all of these really stone. I mean there's a lot of stone here, and so there's a lot I keep circling on the same thing because that's kind of what happens. It's the same thing that happens with trauma in a person. You loop on the same traumatic experience, sort of until you are out of it, because it really is a little bit, it's a spiral. It's a spiral out. Could also be a spiral in, and you could also just be sort of so stuck that you just nothing is really happening. Um, or it's a spiral that's like tethered and it really does kind of just stay. But land holds that too, and holds the trauma of an area. And I did really ask. I was like, so if there hadn't been a bunch of genocide and a bunch of, pillaging and destruction, would ticks be as bad here? And I just want to know the answer. I just want to know the answer. So Gaia, can you chime in here? Hmm. All human activity has consequences. I will not answer this question with a simple yes or no, for it is much more complicated than that. However, you will find less parasitic activity in places that are no longer looping on the same mass casualties. That's a yes, right? Like, we can all agree that that's a yes, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. It kind of doesn't do a lot for us now, right? Like, hey, colonizers, maybe don't. Fucking don't. But we can at least, as a now moment people, do things to improve upon it and actually own it, own what happened, and make restitutions for it. In addition to what can we do for the planet and each other? Would that solve tick issues? Couldn't hurt. Are you just saying that because like it's the obvious like path forward for humanity? Obviously. Okay, well, because I was mad. I like this morning I was angry. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? There were not ticks on me last night that I could tell. I don't know where this little fucker was hiding, but he was in my bed. And yeah, I say he. I don't know, but I'm just gonna assume bloodsucker, right? He. I'm already a mosquito magnet. I could say that I'm a tick repellent for the most part, because this is the first time that one's actually clung on, but I was so angry. And when I was basically checking in with guides, I was like, really? Really? Because yesterday we finally paid the security deposit for our apartment. Like, we're locked in now. We're locked in. Locked in for leaving. And I booked the movers. And then this morning, woke up with a goddamn tick. Why? And the literal answer I got was just, you're a human, and being a human involves ticks sometimes. Both in like literal and metaphor. And it's just like, mother? That's all. That's my update. That's what's going on. And I just wanted to share a poem and encourage you to also write a poem, because it at least can make you feel like you're having a tick lodged in your neck, right here, upon waking, just feels poetic. It just does, Like that's a very sensual spot. Just feels very poetic. And where I'm going to be living and working for 6 months, the messaging that I've gotten from others is ticks. There'll be ticks. You might get Lyme disease because other people have gone to that place and gotten Lyme disease because of just where it is. And so I've been a little bit concerned about that. And so there was a little bit of like, Ilara especially was like, I mean, did you die? Or did you just pull it out? It's like, I just pulled it out, but I'm angry. And I got a proper tick removal thing that's coming now too, because I did not have that. And you don't really want to just, because you can leave the head. You want a proper tick removal device. Just saying. And I guess this is to anyone who's been listening to my content and is like, I want to come to the Omega Institute because I'll get to say hi to Charlie. That's obviously not the reason you should come. You should come for your own like healing and growth. But also, yeah, hi. And I'm sure that we'll have tick removal things and guest services. And I'm not squeamish, so I'll happily just I'll remove it for you. We'll spray you with some antibacterial stuff. You should be good. Takes 3 days before Lyme disease can even like become a thing. So whatever. Not a huge deal. I'm just annoyed. But I made a poem about it, and I kind of liked it. And it went in a very not weird, but it went in a very curious direction. Because yeah, you can't live in this area and not feel the horrors that have happened in fairly recent human memory, to the point that things are still constantly celebrated here as historical, and like historical in a fun way, historical in a celebrated way, historical in a white way, right? I'm so ready to leave this state. I'm so ready. I'm so happy. Okay, well, that's it for me. I hope you've had a better whatever before you watch this. And if you've also recently been bitten by a tick, here's hoping that you also don't get Lyme disease. Right? Or any of the other worse things, like becoming allergic to meat. Good thing I'm already a vegan, basically, so, If I am allergic to it, I guess I won't find out. Hold on, getting a message. But I can't decode it. This isn't for you right now. We are simply providing context for that joke. Am I about to become allergic to meat? Okay. It's a thing. You can become allergic to mammal meat, I believe. Yeah, because it's just pork and beef, which I don't care for anyway. So, if anything makes me like come back to meat, it's chicken, because. But the alternatives that they've made these days are just as satisfying and bad for you. Have you ever had an Impossible Chicken Nugget? It's amazing. And I have figured out how to take Impossible Chicken Nuggets and some of that fake cheese, vegan cheese, and make a chicken parm sub. And y'all, it wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good. So you too can continue to eat your junk food that's killing you on a plant-based diet. And it'll still make your skin better. So All right, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm really gonna go now. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll talk soon. Bye.